Okay. Hello, and how are you, YouTube? So I don't really come live on here that often anymore, do I? But I figured since I'm not allowed to talk about my conversion disorder on Facebook yet, and then I would just do so on here. Do any of my followers have conversion disorder also? It'd be really cool to, connect with somebody else that does. I know I'm not the only person. It'd just be cool, to have somebody to talk to about these things. Because unfortunately, I am back to using this walker right here, which I was doing really good and not having to use it. I mean, I can walk without it. It's just really difficult to because my knees and my ankles are kind of, I don't know, they're turning inwards on me. Not just my ankles, but my knees are too, and it's really weird to walk. And so I just use the walker to be faster. So it doesn't take me like forever to go somewhere. Can I walk half a football field now? No. I don't even think I can walk half a football field. I mean, it would take some work. And my orthotic doctor is going to be upset because we were making some progress. And now I'm going back downhill where both of my legs are turned inwards. On the left side, it's not my ankle so much as my knee. But since my knee is turned in and twisted all weird, then it kind of makes my ankle turn in a little. But I have a brace to go on that one as well. It's not an orthotic, but I have one that should help at least to keep it from turning inwards on me. I also have my orthotic on my right foot. It just sucks, that not even my doctors up here around Chattanooga or Rossville area in Georgia really understand what conversion disorder is. So they oftentimes mistreat it. And not just being mean wise, but just mistreat it in general because they don't know. They don't understand what it is. The thing is, though, is I've asked months prior to this happening with my counselor, with my mental health doctor, not my counselor, because she keeps dismissing me. Hence, that's the reasoning why I told her, I needed to see my counselor because these are becoming an issue more and more, and I don't want it to wind up becoming a permanent issue where I have to walk like this for the rest of my life because it done got stuck that way because I walked this way for so long. I don't want to lose muscle tone, all this stuff. I don't want to have to go through that. I just went through it with my right leg. Now I'm dealing with it with both of them. I have seen a lot of people that have conversion disorder that goes through this similar thing. And my question, to you guys is how do y'all deal with it? Do you just, I don't know, do you just kind of let it happen and let it do its own thing? Does it get better over time, or is yours permanent? How does yours work? Because I know our bodies are different, so it's not all going to be the same. But I've noticed a lot of people, with similar symptoms that they have issues with their moving their limbs and stuff. And my question is just how do you beat your brain when it comes to that? Because I'm not at the point just yet in my condition where I don't let my legs take control. But, well, not my legs necessarily, but my brain take control. It still takes control in a way. I've gotten it under control to the point where I'm not having convulsions anymore. But now it's the legs. My doctor's gonna be so upset too. I'll go back to see him in a couple weeks. I'll have to call to ask what day because I forgot. I know that it's in May sometime though. I think like May 10th or 12th. Can't be on May 9th though because I have a counseling thing, which isn't going to be nothing. We're just going to go over normal stuff, go over our plan. We're not really going to talk about anything this time. And that's another thing that keeps upsetting me is even my psychiatrists and them keep dismissing it as well. And since they also keep dismissing it, it's staying an issue. Because I haven't gotten to the cognitive behavioral therapy like I need to help retrain my brain to do positive things instead of like my legs twisting inward. Because it does very much so cause pain. It is not painful. Because the way that my legs are now, they're not necessarily stuck. I can move them. It's just they're hard to move. I can't move them easily. So I guess you can say they're stuck-ish. But my thing has always been is that I always ask them for help ahead of time. And they seem like it's a big problem that I ask them for help at all. Any of the doctors in general, they just act like it's a big problem. Like I'm lying, I'm a hypochondriac, that nothing's going on, nothing's wrong. Which nothing is necessarily wrong like that, but it's been proven, the signaling in the nervous system gets mixed up. It's still, your brain still sends its signals, still sends the correct signals, but in the nervous system, it gets mixed up. And then that is what leads to the conversion part, such as your legs turning inwards and getting stuck, paralysis, blindness even, hearing loss, blushing for a long period of time, tearfulness that you're not intentionally doing, like crying and you're not intentionally crying. Basically, anything that your body can do, it can do. Doesn't necessarily mean that it will do, but it can. Such as, like, how they wonder how doctors get confused on how it can affect your liver or something like that if it's a conversion disorder, and there's nothing actually medically wrong with it. Well, that's because it's a conversion disorder. You can still have symptoms of stuff, like you can still have symptoms with your bladder or your liver or whatever, and there not necessarily be anything wrong with it. But you can still very much so experience those symptoms. And right now it sucks because I haven't gotten to a point in my therapy where I've learned to beat my brain to the point where it doesn't affect my walking or my movement and stuff. I think I'm supposed to go to, what is it, physiology or some shit like that. And they deal with the movement process of the conversion disorder. So I don't understand what they're doing up here and why they're not sending me to these places to get the help that I actually need. And then they go and they complain about it when I have to go to the emergency room and it becomes an emergency, like it's my fault because I didn't do what I was supposed to, but I am doing what I'm supposed to. I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to. It's just every time that they send me to the doctors that I'm supposed to go to, they dismiss me every time. Like there's nothing wrong. Like my counselor, she doesn't see it as an issue that my mental health leads to me not being able to walk properly. She doesn't see that as a problem. She says that that's neurology. And after time and time again, after telling her, no, it's not, I've already been to neurology about this. And they've specifically told me over and over again that it's a conversion disorder. That's what happens. That's a symptom of it. And so they can't do anything about it at all. Except for to put me in physical therapy and do like I have been doing. And also deal with the psychiatrist and the mental health doctor as well to make sure that I keep up with my medications. And not the last time that I went, but the time prior to that, they had me waiting over an hour past my appointment. My appointment was like at 10:50, and then 11:50 came up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And a group of people that I was sitting with had already went back, and some of them already started coming out. I'm like, huh, what is up? Let me go check. Did I check in? I mean, I think I remember checking in, but sometimes my brain's not all the way there. So maybe I didn't check in. Let me go up here and make sure. And I went up there and I asked her, I'm like, did I check in or what's happening? Because I've been here for like an hour. And she was like, I think so, but let me check. So she didn't even know. And she looked and checked, and yes, I was checked in. She tried to call the back, and they didn't even answer. So she was like, well, you can wait a little bit longer, or you can just reschedule the appointment. I was also almost out of my medications at that time, and I'm not supposed to, that's not supposed to happen. That can cause problems, more problems, and can be dangerous. Um, and then about another 30, 45 minutes had went by, and another two groups had went in and came out. I'm like, what the fuck? I am not waiting here anymore. I'm just going to reschedule my appointment. They skipped over me, is what it was, and they have a list, so I don't see how you can miss me. Even if you are busy, I don't see how you can miss me. We're on a list. You looked at the list to see if I was checked in. So did I not why did you skip over me? I know they probably didn't do it intentionally, but sometimes it makes me feel like they do. They don't treat it seriously at my mental health place, I feel like, because they don't know what it is. And that was specifically what I was told by Emory in Atlanta, is that I need to find somebody, one, who I'm comfortable with, and two, that understands my condition fully so that they can help me to get back to my normal self or close to it. Because it's always going to be there still. It's never going to go away. It's always going to linger in the background. But there are ways that we can make it manageable to where I can live a long, healthy life. Right now, if things continue to go how they go, I wouldn't be able to live a long, healthy life. I'm right now at the point where I'm able to live a little bit longer of a life. I have more of a chance of a longer life than I did, let's say, like even 4 or even a year or two ago. Because I've came pretty close to it several times on not making it, but every time that my brain gets to that point, I say no. Because I'm not going out that way. I know we don't really have a say so, we don't have a choice on how we go out, but I am not going out that way. But it just, I don't know, it sucks because it's something that affects me not just one day, but every day. Well, not necessarily every day, but every other day. And it's something that I can never seem to just get rid of. It won't go away. It's like this lump that just grew on me and it just stuck there now and it won't go away.
What's your hump or what? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about my conversion disorder.
Oh, it made you the hunchback in Notre Dame.
It did made me the hunchback in Notre Dame for sure, and it just won't freaking go away.
Well, that's what it is to have a hump.
Mm-mm. And to me, I kind of feel like there are certain things that they could probably do to help with it. I just feel like they don't want to. Like, I don't think there's medication or anything like that will stop it or make it go away. But I do think that there are certain things that they can do that could possibly help, such as using saline as a magic drug. And because you don't know that they're just giving you saline, you know that they're giving you whatever they say that they're giving you because you trust them. They're doctors. That's what they're supposed to do. They don't lie to you. Normally, they don't lie to you anyway. But that would be a way to trick the brain. So, if that's what you gotta do that. And I'm pretty sure that all my others with conversion disorder kind of feel the same, you know? Well, maybe not my newbies, the ones that are just starting to deal with symptoms and stuff. And it can be really hard when starting out. And for a while, it's still hard. I've had it for going on, this is like my 11th year now. And it is not something to play around with, that's for sure. And people joke around about it on TikTok like it's funny. It's funny to have seizures. It's funny to not be able to feel your limbs and just fall to the ground and stuff. And that's not funny. Why would anybody think that would be funny? Oh, I guess, it's the same generation that's freaking eating Tide Pods too. So what much can you expect? I just wish more people would just gain knowledge. Conversion disorder has been here a very long time. And doctors have known about it for a very long time. Yet, a lot of them act like they don't know what it is. And my doctors up here in Rossville, Georgia, at CHI Memorial in Fort O, they like to make fun of people. They like to laugh at you and mock you for stuff like this. And then they will tell you, those moments where you're not able to use your legs properly and they have to hold you up. A lot of times they will even tell me that they will drop me, that they're not gonna help me to the bed, that I'm aware. I know what I'm doing, so I can walk to the bed. They're not gonna help me, so they're just gonna let me fall. And then they will also leave you in your own urine for hours and hours at a time, which is also not healthy. That leads to infections. And they also make fun of people for being on ventilators because of conversion disorder. Because the CHI Memorial in Chattanooga, this is like back in 2019, I had an episode. It was a conversion disorder episode, which everybody knew that. We all knew that. But it was one of those moments that was a little bit more severe. Like, it wouldn't stop. They tried to do everything they could to bring me back around, all that stuff, and it just didn't work. I remember clearly that I was having some episodes at home and I was feeling really bad. And my spouse asked me, like, you need to go to the hospital, like he does sometimes when he notices, which he does. And I'm like, yeah, I think we should go. I don't feel like this. I think this one's going to be a major one. I don't feel like this one's going to stop. And so we got in a truck, went head to the hospital, and started feeling even worse. And sometimes during my episodes, I will talk to myself because sometimes that'll help. And I'm like, I can make it. I can make it until we get to the hospital. I can make it. And we were almost there, probably maybe about 2 minutes left, and still feeling really bad. I'm like, no, I can do it a little bit longer. There's only a little bit longer to go. And I made it too, all the way up until we got to the emergency room doors, and then I blacked out. And woke up a couple of days later, and I was on a ventilator and all this stuff. They had to shut my brain off because it wouldn't stop. I became combative. My oxygen levels weren't stable. Things were not right because my brain wouldn't stop. I was still having all of these things happening. And then when you're shaking and stuff like that, and you're going through pain and shit like that, your blood pressure shoots up, your heart rate shoots up, all these things. And that can also lead to problems if they shoot up too high or too low. And when you're in them for so long like that, if you've had them for hours, that can make your blood pressure sky high. And that can make your heart rate sky high. With me, that makes my heart rate almost near deathly limits when I have convulsions and have my episodes like that. My heart rate spikes up near 200. Like, I think the highest I've seen it spike up to was about 194. And that's dangerous. You can have a heart attack if your heart rate gets up too high like that. That's why it was a couple of years ago, we had something that showed that was possible a mini heart attack type situation. And that was the reason they had to send me to the heart doctor to get it checked, because it was showing that one side of my heart is not doing the correct thing that it's supposed to, that it's enlarged or something like that. I don't remember the terms or what they said. But we went and had an echocardiogram done, and it showed nothing was wrong. Had a breathing test done, and it showed that I just have mild asthma, so nothing to it. Once again, just a conversion disorder. But that's what people don't understand, is it can lead to emergencies like that. Conversion disorder itself is not an emergency. You don't have to go to the hospital for that. Me, my opinion as for someone who has been going through it for many years, I say, don't go to the hospital unless you absolutely feel like you need to. Or if you fall, you hurt yourself. Because otherwise they're not going to do anything. And a lot of times, a lot of hospitals, depending on where you go, depending on doctors and the nurses that are working, a lot of them will just treat us like a joke and will just mock us and make fun of us. Not all of them do that, but a lot of them do. So I would just advise, you deal with it at home the best you can. And if you have like a urgent care walk-in clinic or just your primary doctor, go there if you're having problems like that. And then if they feel like it's an emergency, then they'll send you off to the hospital. That's my latest lesson is we don't need to go to the hospital for it like that. Although we are having symptoms, very real symptoms, where we have pain, we're going through this, there's nothing that they can do about it. Even with my legs turned in and stuff like this, and them not being able to move it themselves, they still can't do anything about it. They'll probably do like x-rays or MRI or something like that, and then it'll come back, it'll show that nothing's wrong, because nothing is wrong. My legs, they work just fine, except the signaling somewhere along the line just said that they don't, and that's where they're at right now. They're like, oh, brain says this is what we're doing, so that's what they do. And if it continues for a period of time, they can get stuck like that. They can literally get stuck like that. And people don't believe that to be true, but it is. I just don't know how to go beyond my brain, go beyond all of that, and use my legs properly. Because even I know, I'm aware now. I'm aware that they work properly. I know they do. I know that there's nothing wrong with them. But even though I know there's nothing wrong with them, I still can't function. I still can't move them properly. Sometimes I'll notice, like, first thing in the morning, I will have, like, it'll start off all right and I'll be doing okay. But then I'll lay back down and get back up, and then it's garbage again. And now it's back to the point of where my legs are swelling. That could also be due to all the salt as well. It could be both. I'm not sure. But I noticed yesterday, like, my foot was so swollen. So was my shin on my right leg. And my right leg on my shin, if you rubbed my leg, it felt like there was like a golf ball sitting on top of my leg right there. That's how swollen it was. And my foot was poofy just like that. And it was so poofy, like my toes and stuff are red. It was weird. But I soaked them several times yesterday. That still didn't necessarily work. A conversion disorder could make you like swell like that too, couldn't it? I mean,
It's possible.
it's a conversion disorder. It's a body thing.
If your brain tells your body something,
So I don't know. Maybe that could be what's happening too. Maybe that's what it is.
but that's
Maybe
the
it's just
danger,
because I've noticed it and it's like, oh, you noticed it? We're gonna swell.
right? That's
So
what happened to my face.
I don't know. Maybe that's what's happening. The same with my legs. Like, oh, you notice me? Oh, I'm gonna fuck up even more. Watch this. And it's not that I'm doing it on purpose at all. And a lot of people with conversion disorder are made to feel like we're doing it on purpose, and we're not. They're very real. It's a very real symptom. It's a very real thing that I'm going through. my legs really aren't working, even though they are working. Medically, even though they are working, they're still not working. And I have zero control over that until my brain says, hey, your legs are working again. And then they're not gonna bud. And the longer, like I said earlier, the longer that you go through that process, the more damage it can cause because you get muscle atrophy, you lose muscle tone, all this stuff. And it can also stretch out tendons and stuff like that where it's not supposed to. And if you overstretch them, from what I'm told, you can't get that back. It's not like a rubber band. It doesn't just get stretched and go right back. That's not how it goes. Once it's overstretched, it's overstretched. That's why I have the orthotic on my right foot. The back tendon, the back little thing that runs across the back of your heel, that part is overstretched. And my orthotic doctor noticed that as well. And that's another reasoning why he lifted my foot up more so that we can see if that will help strengthen up the muscles. But how can I strengthen up my muscles if they keep doing this? Even if I do physical therapy, it still goes back to doing this. And it all comes down to I haven't learned how to beat that. I haven't learned what to do with it, how I'm supposed to deal with it. Should I just let it happen? Am I supposed to just let it do its thing and worry about other stuff and then it come back to normal whenever? I mean, that's kind of how I've been doing it now, is just letting it do its thing. Because I know it's going to go back to normal at some point. Just right now, it's messed up because I emotionally have been going through stuff. Not necessarily physically, but emotionally, I've been dealing with a lot. I've been doing the raffles, I've been doing all this other stuff. I've been worried about dealing with sponsors. I've been worried about how I'm supposed to say stuff, how I'm not supposed to say things, what I'm supposed to say, what I'm not supposed to say. And just all these things. And then I also gotta worry about hundreds of people coming in my inboxes every day. And I gotta keep up with those on which ones actually need stuff. And I still gotta talk to all of them to try to get, potential customers. Because that's what I'm supposed to do. And it's a lot. That's why I stopped doing my schooling stuff. Because it's a lot. I couldn't keep up with that and my school stuff at the same time. I wanted to. Because I was so close to getting my GED. But, I'm gonna worry about me right now and worry about getting better and worry about doing what I have been doing. And if in the future I feel like pursuing my GED again. I know that I can do it now, so I'll go and do it. Because this time I've shown myself, I've proven to myself that I can do it. I'm smart enough to do it. It's okay to be around other people and do things. It's okay to be a part of the population. Not everybody's worried about my conversion disorder. Not everybody cares about that. Not everybody looks at me for that. Some people see me for me and not just for other things. I'm also sorry to others for this video being so long, but this one will probably be pretty long. However, you can skip past to whichever time you want. That's a good thing about YouTube, is you don't have to hear me ranting. You can skip over that stuff. Well, not necessarily ranting, but talking about other things. You can just scroll past it. And I know it kind of sucks, you guys, and I'm sorry, but this is my only way that I'm able to talk about these things out loud without getting in trouble, is and make it relevant. Put it somewhere else, like on YouTube. This is specifically what a lot of y'all asked for, is about my conversion disorder. Because a lot of people are just now learning about it and they want to know. If I didn't have conversion disorder, I'd like to know. Like, what? Really? You can't move your body parts even though they work? That's kind of strange. Well, how does that work? You know, it'd make me curious. And I do get judgment on it a lot of the times too, you know, like, you can't do that. You are right. I can, if my brain told me I could. I mean, like I said, I even talk to myself sometimes. I know it's weird. I know it is. But it helps sometimes. I even talk to myself out loud. Like, I'll be like, what the fuck, legs? You know that you're working. Do your thing. And sometimes that helps. And it'll work and they'll start doing their thing. Not always. Like, I tried it yesterday and kind of just now, and they still the same. Also, I found that deep breathing exercises can help sometimes. Not necessarily with the legs part, at least that I've noticed, but for the episodes themselves, they tend to help. And also, talking on live can help too. Talking about it. Especially to make it widely known to others. And that was my intention in starting YouTube, Facebook, all these other places. That was my original intention, to begin this whole thing. Before even Cannabear came about, that was what started it all, was my conversion disorder. Because I want people to know. I want people to be more educated. I want, when I go out and people see me walking weird, I want them to see me as a person. I want them to see me just like everybody else. Not that I'm slow or I can't do things. I'm incapable because I'm not. I'm perfectly capable of doing things. I just can't do certain things.
She is handy capable.
Certain things I just cannot do.
We are handy
And
capable. We're just
over time, I've learned to deal with that. Like,
differently able.
yeah, differently able. And I have, like, for example, the fact that I can't drive and I probably will never be able to drive. I have come to terms with that and it sucks. It is something that I would love to do. I would love to be able to do. I'd love to be able to go and drive a car and drive somewhere. Even if it's just to the gas station. I'd love to drive there. But unfortunately, it's just not a good idea. I could do that. It's just not safe. It's not a good idea. And I don't recommend it either, you guys. It's just not a good idea. It's not safe. Because you never know when you're going to have an episode. You don't know when it's going to come upon you. Even if you have auras.
Bad day or anything. It can't even depend on that. You may have had a good day in it.
Yeah, you can even be having a good day. Nothing be wrong at all. You can have not had an episode for years and then go and drive a car and all of a
Get
sudden
excited about it. I'm driving.
yeah, all of a sudden get excited because you're driving or you're able to drive now and your
Bam.
conversion disorder kicks in and bam, you hit somebody. You hit a family.
You killed some motherfucker.
You killed their kids
And you
and
just woke up.
mom.
Wasn't even aware of it. What the fuck are y'all talking about?
And wasn't even aware of it either. And now I'm in jail. Probably done hurt myself too.
And murder.
And done murdered some people.
Not murder, because that's intent.
Well, not necessarily murder,
manslaughter.
but manslaughter. And yeah, it's not a good idea. And especially if you're aware of it, it's not a good idea. It's not smart.
Murder, in fact.
Yeah, that is when it becomes murder, is when you know
That you could kill motherfuckers.
that you could kill people and then you go and get in that vehicle and you have an episode and
That's like saying, hey, I've got AIDS. I'm going to go sleep with a bunch of people with a condom.
yep.
That is murder, motherfucker.
And so I just, yeah, certain things I can't do, and I learned to accept that. And some things I'm still learning that I can't necessarily do, and it hurts my feelings a lot of times, and I'll get my hopes up about like with working. I really got excited about that. Well, I do kind of work now in a way, but just not how I envisioned it when I was younger. You know, like go and be like a police officer
Yeah.
or go to be a teacher or even to go work at a gas station.
Career.
A career of some sort. And I even got to a point in my life when I was a teenager and I was a little successful. I got my own trailer and stuff like that, but I didn't know what to do with it. I was a teenager. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I lived by myself too until someone else moved in and then it got taken away from me. But that is okay because all of that just led me here. So that is fine by me. I didn't like it so much back then, but now I'm cool with it because I'm here. It just sucks that I have to deal with a disorder that people don't see. It's not fair. But the world, life itself is not fair.
I mean, it's so fucked up that they, because they can see my shit, because I got hit in the head, they can see that shit. They keep me in the same mental health place as you, and they keep dismissing you, and I'm the one who's fucking sane. I'm good, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm the one that should be dismissed.
I mean, he's smarter than everybody I know.
And
I mean, I do believe there are some problems there, like neurological, I believe. But they keep dismissing me, and my legs are even twisted all weird. And no,
and telling her to go home, and they make me stay. I've been there for 2 years almost.
and they'll tell
I've
me,
been to two different ones in the same building,
mm,
and I feel fine. I don't even understand. I'm confused
yeah.
because I got a big ass scar in my hands do some crazy shit.
And also, they don't know what conversion disorder is either, which kind of upsets me. Why are y'all gonna deal with me if y'all don't know what it is? Just send me to somebody who does, please. I know there are people that do, like a cognitive behavioral therapy does.
But
Even
your
my physical
insurance
therapist knew
requires
what
it.
it was.
Yeah, but you're required by law to get a referral to use your Georgia Medicaid. So that's what's up.
And I think I might go back to physical therapy. I think, especially if this shit continues, I'm just gonna go to the walk in clinic like I did last time.
Well, right now
'Cause
you
they're the
got a good
ones that-
transportation.
Because oh yeah, right now I don't really have transportation. Maybe my friend wouldn't mind if she's not busy one day taking me up there to the walk in clinic, and because they're the ones that sent me the referral the last time.
I don't know what her financial situation is in life.
But that'll be something me and her can talk about and see if we can't do that. And maybe she can be, like I said, she's gonna be my best friend. So maybe she'll go with me and actually sit there with me and help motivate me to do
She's
it.
gonna be my best friend. What? I just told y'all. I thought I told you.
Oh yeah, she doesn't have a choice. She's gonna be my best friend. She may not know that yet. She might, because I kind of said it, but I didn't say it necessarily in that way, but I did say, like, you're gonna be my best friend. Because she's super cool. I like her personality. She's not loud. She's not annoying. She doesn't have an annoying voice. Her voice is okay. I like hearing it. Her husband's cool. He's not annoying. He's not one of those that are full of himself and trying to be the man of the,
situation, the center of attention.
the center of attention.
We don't give a fuck about your thing.
And so I could consider him being a friend too here in the future. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call him my best friend, but I could see him being my friend. He's cool. He's not bad.
That one isn't open. This is April 27th. What's today? That's almost-
Today is like April. Okay, I love you. But yeah, it's just been super stressful having to deal with it, and I'm back on the walker. When I was doing really good, like I was doing so good, I was walking fine. I just had my orthotic on to deal with, and now, since all the stress and all these things, my legs are back doing these. I'm also curious if you can't use your legs properly and stuff, are you still allowed to get on roller coasters? Or is there a thing against that to where you can't? I mean, I wouldn't see why we wouldn't be able to get on a roller coaster. But I don't know either, though. I'm not sure. That have to be something I have to look into. But we get to go do that soon. I can't wait. Hopefully, I'll be able to get time on my phone again soon. And I'll be able to take you guys with me and show you guys around. That'd be super cool. Like, show you guys as we go to these places and do these things. I wouldn't take my phone on the roller coaster and show y'all that because I don't feel like that's safe. I know people do. It's just, I don't feel like it's safe. I watch those Final Destination movies and stuff, so I just don't feel like it's safe to do that. Nor would it be safe for my phone if it fell out of my hand. Because I do not have the funds for another. I have found that cannabis helps me when it comes to my conversion disorder. Too much THC can kind of lower the threshold, the seizure threshold. However, if you use CBD with it, that can kind of balance it out, and that helps. At least for me, anyway, guys. Like I said, everybody's different. I'm gonna go ahead and get off here for now, you guys, because I've almost been on here an hour, I know. But thank you for those that have joined me, and thank you for those that will here in the future. Sorry about my dogs. And if you would like to see more of me, you should subscribe and like. Thank you, guys. I will see y'all later.